First of all, we'd like to say thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to volunteer with our sale. This sale is very important to the preschool, and we appreciate all your time and effort to help make it a big success. Connecting with us is important, especially if you have questions or an unexpected last-minute change in your schedule. We ask that you send us an email, and we will respond as soon as possible. However, during the sale week, which runs Sunday through Saturday, we will have limited access to the email account. Please refer back to the Thank You for Volunteering email that was sent prior to the start of the sale for the cell number for you to contact in that situation. Our volunteer needs are pretty simple. We need volunteers to help us with setting up on Sunday afternoon, checking in sellers' items on Sunday evening and Monday morning. We'll also need volunteers to help us work the sale that runs Tuesday afternoon through Saturday morning. And finally, after our sale is complete, we will need volunteers to help with our sorting process, as well as breaking down our sale on Saturday afternoon. And we'll break down each of these shifts and what's expected of you in more detail in just a moment. When you arrive for your shift, look for the volunteer desk near the front entrance. Arriving on time for your shift is not only appreciated, but it will help ensure that all volunteers get welcomed around the same time. After storing your personal belongings in the cabinet, sign in on the sign-in sheet. Create a name tag. Grab a blue apron, and then look for a board member for instructions on where you're most needed on the sales floor. Board members will be wearing matching turquoise consignment sale t-shirts and typically work the register area. Be sure to ask them any questions you have about anything. First things first, here's the layout of the sales floor. Please note where the volunteer station is near the front entrance, as well as the snack room located in the back right corner. The snack room will have water and snacks for your convenience. All other areas of the floor will clearly be marked with signage. But if there's ever a doubt of where something is located, just remember, girls' clothing on the left, boys' clothing on the right, shoes down the middle, and everything else is located along the perimeter walls. Now let's break down those volunteer descriptions in more detail and what they mean for each shift. Setup. Setup is done on Sunday before the sale starts from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. and includes bringing all items related to the sale from storage areas to the CLC building where our sale is held. This is typically a physically demanding shift, so we welcome all help that we can get, especially from the guys. We use a truck and a trailer to get the heavier equipment, such as racks, shelving, and tables from storage. And a map will be provided as to where everything needs to go once inside the CLC building. And board members will be on site to help instruct where items should go if you have any questions. Check-in. Check-in for sellers is held by appointment only on Sunday evening and Monday mornings. During this time, sellers bring in their items to be sold. After checking in and completing their paperwork at the front desk, sellers will be instructed to bring their items to a designated rounder with a colored balloon. As a volunteer during this shift, you'll be stationed at one of those rounders, and it will be your responsibility to inspect all items that the sellers will be dropping off. Any items that do not meet our standards of quality will be rejected and given back to the seller. More detailed instructions on what we accept and don't accept are included later in this training. While you are inspecting their items, the seller is encouraged to start putting the items you've already approved out on the sales floor. It is the seller's responsibility to distribute all of their items. While the seller is doing that, we encourage you to help any other volunteers that are checking in items on their rounders, if you have no one to check in at the moment. But please stay close to your rounder as you need to be available as soon as the next seller comes in for their inspection. Our goal is to stay on schedule, and some sellers have way more items than others, which can cause delays if only one volunteer is inspecting items, while other volunteers are just standing around waiting for the next one to arrive. So please help each other out with this if you can. Working the sale. This is where the bulk of the volunteering happens throughout the week. When our sale opens to the public Wednesday morning, through closing our doors Saturday morning, it's your responsibility to do everything possible to help the sale run smoothly. That includes greeting customers as they come in, as well as on the sales floor, moving around the sales floor, to not only be accessible should anyone need help, but to also help keep an eye on our inventory and our exits. We ask that while you're moving around the sales floor, to please help organize items and straighten racks throughout the day. We will also need volunteers to help detag items during checkout. Detagging includes removing the tags from the items a shopper wishes to purchase. It does not include handling money or making transactions. Don't worry, the registers are reserved for board member use only. And we'll go over the detagging process in more detail a little later as well. Sort, which takes place Saturday afternoon, after our sale has closed, is where we always need the most volunteers. This is where we go through all the remaining inventory on the sales floor and separate it out by seller number so that the sellers can easily pick up their unsold items. It's very important that we verify that the items in each seller's stack have the correct seller number to eliminate any items going home with the wrong seller. And finally, breakdown. This is done simultaneously during sort and extends shortly after everything has been picked up. Basically, it's the opposite of setup. All the tables, shelves, racks, and other sale materials that were brought into the building for the sale need to be returned to storage in the PTA room. Once again, this is a physically demanding process, and the guys are always encouraged to come help. Now, as promised, we'll specifically go over the check-in and quality inspection process in more detail. For all items, prior to entering them into the sale, our sellers have been asked to only submit quality items to sell. Items should be well presented on their hangers, all buttons need to be buttoned, zippers need to be zipped, and bows need to be tied. If they are not, please instruct your seller to fix them before they put them out on the sales floor. We also ask them to ensure that all toys are in working order without any missing pieces. We inspect their gently used items thoroughly, as outlined, and if the seller you're checking in has any concerns with the following, please find a board member to back you up. First and foremost, all items must have our specific My Consignment Manager sales tags attached to them. They can be either vertical or horizontal tags, as we accept both. These tags need to be printed on white or light-colored cardstock. For the security of the tag, we cannot accept tags that are printed on plain copy paper. Unfortunately, they will not withstand the duration of the sale. There should also not be any handwritten tags. Additional information or descriptions about the item can be handwritten on the tag, but anything to do with the barcode, such as the price or whether or not the item is discounted, cannot be handwritten or scratched through. All inventory is in the barcode and it must match the online information. We also ensure that clothing and shoes are season appropriate. Spring and summer items for our spring sale, or fall and winter items for our fall sale. Season appropriate clothing for spring and summer include thinner materials, bright or pastel colored fabrics, typically short sleeves and open skin shoes. For our fall and winter sale, thicker, heavier materials, dark colored fabrics, and typically long sleeves and warm shoes. And most of all, you'll be checking the quality of the items sellers bring in. Some rejected items are obvious, but be sure to examine items closely, as we want only the best items on our sales floor. All items should be freshly clean, unwrinkled, and odor-free. Check for stains, particularly on light-colored infant clothing around the neckline and sleeve edges. Stains are also common in the knees and backsides of the pants in school-age children's clothing, as well as oil or grease spots. Look for damage, pet hair, pilling, or holes. Make sure zippers work and there are no missing buttons. And speaking of damage, please make sure you're familiar with the difference between worn-out jeans and jeans that have intentional fashion rips. Fashion rips are more common in girls' jeans, and you can definitely tell the difference between fashion and just being worn out. Here's a tip. None of these items pictured here are examples of fashion rips. As you inspect the clothing items, ensure that they are hanging correctly. Items need to be hung on adult-size wire hangers with the hook pointing to the left. The hook makes a question mark with the hanger as you face the front of the item. Sellers need to use large or standard-size safety pins to attach items to the hanger. We asked that sellers do not use the small gold or cheaply made safety pins to secure clothing to hangers. They will not hold the item, and it will not sell. Items that are not hung properly will be rejected at check-in, so we ask our sellers to please plan accordingly. Shirts and tops should be hung on a wire hanger with the tag pinned in the upper right-hand corner as you're looking at the item. Make sure to do a tug test. If the item easily falls off the hanger when you tug on the shoulder or the sleeve, the seller needs to rehang the item. In order to secure the item to the hanger, they need to fold a piece of masking or painter's tape around the top of the hanger and pin the item through the tape to the hanger so it can't be pulled off. Sellers are not allowed to use infant-sized plastic hangers when hanging clothing. Preemie, newborn, or 0 to 3 month clothing will be the only items accepted on infant-sized plastic hangers, and even those items will need to pass the tug test. Pants, skirts, shorts, and bottoms. For these items, we ask that the sellers always use the tape on the hanger system when pinning bottoms to hangers. There should be a small piece of painter's tape or duct tape attached to the top of the metal hanger on each side. Then a strong safety pin should be holding the pants through the tape to the hanger. Once again, make sure the hanger looks like a question mark when you're looking at it. Please ensure that the seller hasn't just pinned the pants to the hanger without securing them through the tape. The pants will slide to one side, making it difficult for shoppers to shop them, and can even fall off the racks and onto the floor. This method of properly securing items to the hanger is in place to help ensure that their items sell, not to give them more work to do. Clothing containing more than one piece or sets should be marked on a single tag as a 2-piece set. They should use only one hanger to hang both items together. Be sure both items are pinned together on both the top left and top right side to the hanger. If the bottoms are only pinned to the shirt, the weight will rip the shirt. We also require a single tag be used for toys and other accessories containing multiple items. Ensure that the seller has bagged or attached items together securely so that they can't be separated from each other. For larger items that cannot fit into bags, the seller needs to label each item with a piece of masking tape indicating that it belongs to a multi-piece set. For shoes, be sure they are children's styles and season appropriate. Flip-flops, sandals, or water shoes will not be accepted for the fall sale, and snow boots or fuzzy warm slippers will not be accepted for the spring sale. Cleats and dance shoes are accepted for both our spring sale as well as our fall sale. Ensure that shoes are clean. We cannot accept them if they are dirty, have excessive wear, scuffed toes, dirty insoles, frayed laces or Velcro, or have gum and debris stuck in the tread. Be sure all laces are tied and presentable, and the tread is not missing or too worn down. Shoes should be secured together with a zip tie through the lace holes, buckles, or back tabs so they cannot be separated. The tag should then be attached to the zip tie and reinforced with packing tape so the tag stays on. We cannot accept shoes in shoe boxes or bags. It's highly recommended that the seller marks each shoe with masking tape on the bottom with their seller number, item number, and price. This will help us identify and settle the shoes should the paper tag get lost. Equipment, furniture, and toys should all be in safe working order and have not been recalled. It is the seller's responsibility to ensure that they have recently checked the recall link located in our guidelines. If you see items that you know have been recalled, please pull it off the floor and mark the tag. We are not allowed to accept any drop side cribs. Therefore, only fixed side cribs are acceptable. Crib or toddler bed mattresses need to be sold separately from the bed frame and are the only size mattresses we accept. Please ensure mattresses are stain and odor-free and there are no tears or rips in the fabric. Due to safety recalls, play yards, also known as pack and plays, and other portable cribs are only accepted without the additional bassinet changing tables or sleeping accessory sections on top. The seller can still sell the base, but they can't sell the accessories. Car seats that have expired or are scheduled to expire this year are not acceptable. The expiration date is located in an inconspicuous spot. Most car seats specifically show a do not use after date, which is very convenient. However, if it doesn't specifically show an expiration date, it expires 5 years after the manufacturer's date. For large baby equipment, all must be in safe working order and have not been recalled. Fabric seat covers should be recently washed. High chairs should not have food or crumbs down in the seats or the trays. Toys and equipment that require batteries or charging plugs to work need to have them. And please remind your seller to set up all larger items, such as play yards and play tents. They are more likely to sell if shoppers can see them displayed. And regardless of their condition, the following items are not accepted at our sale. Please return any of these items back to the sellers during check-in. Feeding items such as bottles, dishes, utensils, cups, and breast pump accessories. Teething toys or pacifiers. Brushes and combs. Bumbo seats without the safety seat belt. VHS tapes. Mature rated video games, movies, or books. Underwear that is not brand new in its original packaging. Stuffed animals. Any jewelry other than play or costume jewelry. Dollar store Happy Meal toys or grab bags of miscellaneous scrap toys. And DVDs and CDs must be in display cases, not in bags. And obviously anything stained, dirty, worn out, or out-of-season items should be returned back to the sellers. Clothing should also be of current styles and ideally purchased within the last 5 years. We only accept clothing for infants, toddlers, kids, and teens. Ensure that clothing marked as juniors are actual junior styles, not adult women's styles. We do not accept adult clothing other than maternity clothes. When a rejected item is returned back to the seller, please use a red Sharpie to draw a vertical line through the barcode on the tag. Please also indicate why the item is being rejected. If the item is being rejected because it's the wrong season, please try to remember not to mark through the tag. This way, the seller can re-enter the item during our next sale where it will be accepted, and they don't have to print a new tag for it. As the person responsible for checking the quality of the items, please don't be afraid to tell a seller that some of their items have been rejected. In fact, instead of telling them their items were rejected, which tends to sound so negative, we like to simply call them no thank you items in their presence. Most sellers are understanding of this fact, especially since the intense LED lighting on our sales floor often picks up on stains that were easily missed in the natural lighting of our homes. You will also do this process throughout the week to any items you find on our sales floor that should have been rejected but accidentally slipped through during check-in. Sometimes it happens. After noting the tag, bring the item to the front rejection area behind the front desk to the correct designated bin based on their donation status. If the horizontal tag says Donate No, or there isn't a D in the bottom right corner of a vertical tag, these rejected items need to be returned to the seller after the sale is over. There is a Z-rack for hanging the clothes and a return to seller bin underneath for non-clothing items. Now, if the horizontal tag says Donate Yes, or there is a D in the bottom right corner of a vertical tag, we have 2 options for that. If the item looks like we can sell it at our next sale, put it in the PTA donations box. However, not many items will go in this box, as they are obviously off the sales floor because there's something wrong with it. This box will mostly have out-of-season items the seller doesn't want back, or stained items that we feel we can fix to re-enter into the next sale. If the item is damaged or stained beyond repair, they will go in the Donate Jill box. These items will be picked up for charity by Jill following the sale. And for both Donate Yes options, please remove all hangers before putting them in the boxes to save room. Preparing the shopper's items to be rung up is called detagging. You are not totaling up items or collecting money. You're simply removing the tags from the items, so all the cashier has to do is ring up the tags. First, when the shopper brings their items to you, you will hang up all the hanging items. To help you remove the tags more swiftly, take just a moment to separate the 2 different style tags we have, vertical and horizontal, as they are both removed differently. For horizontal tags, you will unpin those completely from the item and save the safety pins in a bucket at your station. For vertical tags, you will leave them pinned on, but you will cut 3/4 of the tag off along the small myconsignmentmanager.com branding. Then you will carefully remove the tags from the remaining non-clothing items. These tags will be taped onto the items, so be careful when removing the tape, especially on books, board games, and decorative items. If the tape damages the item when we remove it, they may not wish to purchase it. Be sure to ask the shopper if they have any large items held in the yellow hold section up front. If they do, you will need to go get the tag off of that item and include it in your count. Please remember that item is still in the hold section when you do your final count. And while they mean well, please do not allow shoppers to help you detag their items. Detagging items requires you to keep track of all items, sometimes with multiple pieces, and count the number of tags versus the number of items. You need to be the one who is in control of that situation, and having their help may only confuse things and cause delays in the line. After all the tags have been removed, count the number of items you have. Instead of trying to remember that number, write it on the back of the last tag in your stack. Then, count all of the tags you've removed. The number you wrote on the back of the card should match the number of tags you have. If it does, great. Circle that number. If it doesn't, go back and recount everything to find out where the mistake is. Most of the time, it's because you forgot to include any large items still sitting over in that hold section. Once you have a correct count of all items versus tags, and the number is circled on the back of the last card in your stack, place those tags in a Ziploc bag and hand the bag to the shopper, along with their items. The shopper will then continue through the line to the cashiers. They will give the cashier only their bag of tags, where they will be scanned in order to complete the sale and collect money. Finally, we mentioned sort and how important it is to have all hands on deck. Essentially, our sales floor will need to go from this to this in a very short time frame so sellers can pick up their unsold items. As soon as our last shopper is gone, we will first have a brief group meeting with all volunteers to go over sorting instructions. First, we'll remove all items from the tables and shoe racks so we can move them first. We will have boxes set up for this process. However, please use the sturdy laundry baskets for removing the breakable decorative items along the back wall. Everything will then be pushed to the center of the room to sort through by seller number. The goal is to make a walking area for placing sorted items in the correct seller's designated area on the brown tables, positioned around the perimeter, with the seller numbers in numerical order. Clothing items go on the tables, and non-clothing items go in the bins under the tables. Items that sellers have indicated as Donate Yes need to be taken directly to the newly created donation section up front. Simply place them on the tables or hang them on the racks, and a board member will take care of them. After everything in the room has been sorted by seller number, you'll go back through each seller's section to verify that it's all sorted correctly. Any out-of-place items should be sent to the correct section before pickup begins. Now that all the important stuff is out of the way, please know that we love our volunteers and can't thank you enough. And as a bonus thank you, be sure to shop our volunteer preview sale on Tuesday afternoon before our sale officially opens to the public the next day. All volunteers are able to shop starting at 4 p.m. However, the more you volunteer, the earlier you get to shop. Those that volunteer during Sort on Saturday and work any other additional shift, or work 3 regular shifts throughout the week if you can't work Sort on Saturday, are VIP volunteers and can get the best prices by shopping before everyone else starting at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. And if you're already a VIP volunteer and also want to get first dibs on those 50% off items, simply volunteer for 1 more additional shift to qualify for VIP Plus status, which allows you to privately shop the 50% off sale after we close at 7 p.m. on Friday night, whereas everyone else will have to wait till the next morning to shop the 50% off sale. And while we're certain there's things we've missed in this volunteer need-to-know tutorial, the bulk of what was explained is what we need the most understanding from. We hope this has been helpful. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And as always, thank you for all that you do to help the success of our sale.